All right, welcome everybody. Really good to have you here. We're so excited to announce Strategies by Subscription, and the reason we're talking today is because this is a group of brand ambassadors for SpearPoint Solutions in general, and since this is a new offering that we have out there, I want to bring you up to speed on what it entails and what's in it for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. As I mentioned, this is called Strategies by Subscription, and I've hit a wrong button. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so we'll go ahead and dive in and talk about what we're doing with the Strategies by Subscription here. So many businesses are not as profitable as they could be, and frankly should be. And part of the big problem is, for many of them, sluggish sales, price competition, or both are kind of the norm. There are a number of reasons for that, but to help them with that, what I do is I combine creative thinking processes with over 3 decades of business experience, not only in sales, but in training and entrepreneurship, and frankly, a mastery of what I call the psychology, sociology, and biology of human decision making. And I put all that together to develop strategies that differentiate companies in the hearts and minds of consumers. And and when you can do that, you've got something special, because what happens is the result is that consumers, their perception of your company or your product offerings is transformed from meh to must-have, so that they're a lot more eager to buy, and not just buy, but buy at a price that you want them to buy. So, I work with a lot of different companies on that, and for me to create a custom proprietary strategy for companies, it starts at 10 grand and goes up. And frankly, it's worth every penny too. When you think about it, really what it comes down to is what's the ROI. And so, if that strategy produces 100 or 200 or 300 extra in sales, 1,000 in sales, that's a pretty good return. But look, let's face it, there are a lot of companies out there that either, one, can't afford that fee, or two, they're just looking for a little bit more cost-effective way to access my expertise. And frankly, during the coronavirus shutdown and seeing what was happening with businesses across the country, it really got me thinking about how can we serve people better. And that's when I came up with the idea of Strategies by Subscription. So let's talk just a little bit about how that works. When people subscribe to our strategy creation service, they get 3 new business strategies every 30 days. And so over the course of the year, that's 36 different strategies. Obviously, because they're not a custom strategy for them, they're not proprietary to them, that's not going to be, every company is not going to be able to use every strategy. But they'll be able to glean parts probably from every strategy. And some will be able to absolutely just implement the strategies exactly the way that they're laid out. One of the things that I've found is that the companies that have issues, some are perfect, right? But most aren't. And it's 3 areas of business where they really need help. And the first is traffic or lead generation. And the second is improving their margins by differentiating themselves in the marketplace being perceived as more valuable by the consumer, and then creation of new markets. And so every 30 days, our subscribers get one strategy in each one of those categories. And periodically, we might even throw a bonus one in there. So, but for sure, they'll get those three. So, like I said, that's 36 strategies over the course of a year. And you might think, boy, that's an awful lot, right? That's an awful lot of strategies. So why in the world would we do that? Well, it's the same reason that companies hire me to create multiple strategies for them over the course of time, because competitors will always copy what you're doing that works. And so, but the one thing that they can't do is they can't read your mind, and they can't read my mind. And so, if you're one of our strategy subscribers, then you're going to be the leading edge, right? You're going to have those strategies that keep you on the leading edge. And frankly, your competition is always going to be wondering, how in the world is that company always so innovative, right? So that's the important thing, is continuous innovation is a must, because they're going to copy you. But you can always stay ahead by continually innovating. And look, though the strategies for our subscribers, they're not exclusive to their company, they are exclusive only to our subscribers. And so consider this for a second. There are 32.5 million businesses just in the U.S., right? And so I can tell you what our minimum 3-year goal is to have 5,000 subscribers at a minimum. But that sounds like a relatively big number, but in comparison to the 32.5 million businesses in the U.S., that's far less than 0.1%. And so that puts them in a pretty elite group. And while it's not 100% exclusive to their company, each strategy, that's a pretty small group. So what's the value of these strategies? Well, like I said up front, if it's 10 grand or more for me to create a proprietary strategy, and each one of them would be valued at that, well, do the math on that, right? 36 strategies times 10 grand, that's 360 grand. Now, maybe there's a little bit of a discount built in because they're not proprietary to you, but I think you can see that there's pretty good value there. Would you guys agree with that? Just tell me in the comments or chime in here for a second.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it's and Ryan, you and I have done a little bit of work already together on this, and I think you already have kind of an inside track of what we're doing with some of these strategies. So it's they're a difference maker, aren't they?
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, complete difference maker.
All right, so $360,000 worth of value, and the cost of a subscription for a year is $3,500. Christine, what do you think about in terms of a value proposition for that?
Compared to you charging 10 grand for a company if they can't afford it, I think that's beyond value. All the tips that you're sending them anyway, that's enormous.
Yeah, it's. We're pretty thrilled. One of my, I wouldn't call him a business hero, but I've learned a lot through watching his content and reading his material. His name is David Meltzer, and one of the things that he talks about in terms of a value prop is give people $100 or more worth of value for every $20 that they're spending with you. So sort of a 5 to 1 in terms of value. And so, we try to emulate that or more, right? We want it to be so valuable that it's an absolute no-brainer in terms of the monetary investment. So now it gets even better, because the people that are on here and the people that will be watching this in the future are either currently brand ambassadors or are considering becoming a brand ambassador for our company in this program. And so if somebody has a brand ambassador code, and each one of our brand ambassadors has a unique code that they can provide people that they're referring over to the program, that's going to save them an additional $500. So that gets even better. If it's a great value at $3,500, it's an even better value at $3,000. Wouldn't you say so, Luis?
Indeed, yes. And I think right now in this time of still economic uncertainty, that value is going to go a long way, Bob.
Well, I believe personally that the world needs a lot more successful entrepreneurs. Those are the people that drive the economy forward. And so whatever we can do to help facilitate that, I am a big time champion of successful entrepreneurship. And so we really, whatever we can do to facilitate that, and we're going to have some things associated with this strategy subscription program that we're going to have available in what I'm calling an Entrepreneur Success Resource Center, that are going to help entrepreneurs. There will be every piece that they need to be successful. We want to help build that puzzle for them. And so in that Entrepreneur Resource Success Center, there will be things within these strategies that people need to implement them. And so whatever that might be, we want to be able to help facilitate that implementation of those strategies. And it might be a company that you need a designer, or you need a point of sale system. Ryan's company works with point of sale systems and helping businesses in different spaces be successful with that. So on top of that, we're pretty good at negotiating. So we're going to negotiate some special pricing with the vendors that we have featured in that resource center. So, we'll think about other things in the future that are going to add even more value to our subscribers. So it's going to be, we're going to continually increase the value. So we're really, really excited about that. So, in terms of a value proposition, when you think about how much value they're getting versus how much they're paying, the analogy that I came up with is it's like getting 10 cases of the most expensive Dom Perignon for the price of a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's something that I think everybody could get behind, and they certainly can understand. One of the things that I'm really super excited about is we want to make this a total no-brainer for the business people that are our customers. And so some people, just pull out a credit card and pay for it up front. But for some people, they either don't have the money to do that liquid, or they would just prefer to pay for it over time. And so we've set up a partner arrangement to provide financing, even for the small investment that it is, either $3,500 or $3,000. And so we set up a partner arrangement with a company called Seven Figures Funding, and they typically $3,000 or $3,500. That's such a small amount that a lot of companies don't want to do those size loans. But I communicated with Seven Figures Funding, told them what we were doing, told them how many customers we anticipate over the next months, and they said we would be perfectly fine taking care of that for people. So that's a pretty exciting proposition. And they've got a simple qualifying form. We've got it linked on our website from the purchase window. So good stuff, really exciting. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of information. Let me show you before we get into what's in it for our brand ambassadors. Let me just show you, let's see, when somebody, all of our strategies are set. This is not one of our strategies, but I want to give you an idea of when somebody logs in, what's it going to look like. And eventually we're going to have some audio voiceovers in all of them, but we've got them set up as a flip book where people can just go on. They can flip through the strategies at their leisure. They can flip back and forth, page by page within the strategies, and really be able to digest the content, at their own pace. So that's what one of those looks like when they log in the members area. And so let's go back over here to the presentation. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so what's in it for our brand ambassadors? Well, a first-year commission starts at 10%. So in other words, Luis or Christine, you run across a business person that you think that this can be really helpful for, and you refer them over, they enroll, they use your brand ambassador code to get a $500 lesser price, so $3,000 as opposed to $3,500. When they do that, when they successfully enroll, then you get paid a commission. And we intend to run those commissions once every week. So if you that enrolls, you're going to get paid commission. We'll work on gathering payment info and stuff from you. I know we don't have that from all of you yet, but we'll have a turnkey process where you can submit that information later. But just so you know, a first-year commission begins at 10%, but get this, the more customers you refer, the higher percentage you earn. So 1 to 5 customers enrollments, and this is lifetime, by the way. This is not per year or per month or per quarter or anything like that. This is lifetime. So on your first 1 to 5, the commission percentage you earn is 10%. So if it's $3,000, that's $300 per. So you enroll 5, that's $1,500. On referred customers 6, 7, and 8, the commission percentage goes up to 12%. 9, 10, 11, 12, it goes up to 15%. 13 through 15, that's 17.5%. And you refer 16 and more customers, anything above 16, you get paid 20% commission. So that's $600 per. I mean, I don't think that's exactly hanging the moon in terms of income, but I mean, think about what you could do with $600, right? I mean, for a lot of people, that makes part or all of a mortgage payment. It makes a car payment. It helps fund kids' college. There's a lot of different things that you can do with $600. Not all the money in the world, but what if you referred a couple a month? When you got to that level, I mean, that's $1,200. Over the course of a year, that's $24,000, right? So anyway, excuse me, not $24,000, 14, a little over 14. Now, it gets even better, because when customers renew, let's say that, Ryan, you referred a customer over to us they signed up for the strategy subscription program, and they liked it so much, it helped them stay on the leading edge, that it came around to year 2, and they said, you know what, we'd like to renew this and get more strategies going forward, so we're always on the leading edge. We're always innovating. And they renew in year 2. Well, guess what? You get paid again. What do you think of that, Ryan?
Oh yeah, I mean we like residuals, so.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. If you're continuing to refer some new people in year 2, in year 3, in year 4, and everybody's not going to renew, but some of your other customers renew in year 2, year 3, year 4, you can really stack some income that way. And I haven't put examples together on income, but you guys can do some math on that. I mean, that can really add up over time. So I think that's an important thing. And let me sweeten the pie even a little bit more. Oh, hang on. Have to work with the technology here. Here's an example. A brand ambassador refers 10 customers who enroll, right? The cumulative total for those 10 is $3,480. So just a little shy of $3,500 just for referring people over. You don't even have to enroll them. They do that. You don't have to take care of the financing. That's done, right? You don't have to worry about the site being there. It's there. It's functional. You don't have to create any of the strategies. I do that, right? You enroll 20. Now this is cumulative. This is for 20 customers who enroll. It's almost $8,400, $8,355. So, like I said, I don't think that's all the money in the world, but what if you did that every year, right? And what if you stacked some income on top of that by people renewing? I think not only are you doing something that benefits people, but you're benefiting simultaneously. So, and then, on top of the 20, it's $600, like we were talking about before, for each additional enrolled customer. This is what I was talking about, sweetening the pot even more. Let's say that somebody enrolls, they're a subscriber for our strategies as a subscription, and they buy some other product or service either from us or through our Entrepreneur Success Resource Center. Well, guess what? You're going to get paid on that too. So essentially, once you bring a customer to the table, anything that they do with us, you get paid on for life. So, Christine, what do you think about that?
That's pretty cool. Can't beat that, man.
You're in favor of getting paid for life, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. That's for sure.
Awesome. So, look, we've got, and I know that the people on this call are already familiar with these, but there's a great book that if you have not read already, you should read. It's called The Go-Giver. And one of the things, the main concept of that book is, if you want to be successful, you've got to help other people be successful. And the more that you can give people that resources to help them be successful, the more successful you're going to become. And you do that with the right spirit and the right attitude, and you help everybody. But what we've done is we've put together 4 different what I call high-value customer attraction tools. And these are the covers here. And One of them is called Acres of Diamonds Questions. It's 6 questions that will help you outthink the competition. Essentially, it is a market identifier tool. Very simple, but very, very powerful. The second one that you see there on the right is called Seeing the Invisible So You Can Do the Impossible. In creation of these strategies, I use a number of different creative thinking methodologies that I've learned over the years, and this piece, the Seeing the Invisible piece, lays out 12 different methods that people can use to think creatively and to help them innovate to stay ahead in today's economy. So you can use that. The other 2 are, I actually developed for a client about 2.5 years ago a LinkedIn success strategy. As you see right there, it says steps to making LinkedIn your golden ticket. And frankly, it's what I use myself on LinkedIn. And it is, if you follow that strategy, the way it's laid out, it will absolutely become your golden ticket. I will attest that it is perfect for that. And so you can share that with people. And each one of these, if you do not have them already, and if you're just, I know most of the people on this webinar have them, but if you're watching this webinar later and you do not have these in your arsenal and you become a brand ambassador with us, we will get you each one of these with branded with your brand ambassador code, so that when people have them in their possession and they decide to click over, there's a promo page in the back of each of these where they can click over to our site and learn about our strategies by subscription. And if they click and enroll and use your ambassador code to get their $500 savings, then they will, you'll get that. And let me tell you what magic happens with these is because they're such high value. When someone has them, people love to get what I call social currency. And when they're high value, people are going to share those with other people that they know. So it might be somebody that you've not even ever met that has one of these, either the Seeing the Invisible, the LinkedIn Success Strategy, the Finding Hidden Gems, which we're going to talk about in a second. They might have those in their possession. They click over to our site. They learn about what we're doing with the strategies as a service, and they enroll. And you didn't even meet them. They just happen to have one of these high-value giveaways in their possession. And that's one of the reasons to use those. The unselfish reason is to help people win bigger. And I guess you can call it a selfish reason, but the reason you give them away to help you is because they will. They'll help others and help you simultaneously. So the final one is there on the right. It's called Finding Hidden Gems, Turning Existing Assets into Income. And it is that is one of the more powerful processes that I use with clients when I'm consulting with them on an individual basis, where we'll step through all of their existing assets that they have or have access to, and we'll apply creative thinking to each one of those assets to identify opportunities for income that they were overlooking. And it is extremely powerful. I do that both in consulting, and I run a creative thinking fun shop that utilizes that tool as well. So this is really, really helpful. You'll get people, potential customers that log onto the site, and they say, this sounds great. I really would kind of like to know what these strategies are going to look like, though. And so I guess through the influence of Bob Sager, I was able to to get 3 existing clients that we created proprietary strategies for that consented to allow theirs to be viewed, reviewed, I guess copied potentially, by people that log on to our site. So when somebody logs in, they can sign up for to get each one of these strategies, and over the course of a week, they'll get all three of them, links to all three of them via email. The first one is called Chocolate Smiles, and I would encourage you guys to sign up for the email. By the way, all of this will be 100% active by this coming Monday, June 22nd, 2020. So just so you guys know when this will be completely available. We're doing this on Friday the 19th, and you'll be able to begin referring people. We've got 98.5% of things in place. There are just a couple of little tweaks that have to be done. So on Monday, I would encourage all of you guys to go add yourself to that email and get these access to these three strategies and see what's there. The first one on the left there is Chocolate Smiles. It's something I developed for Choice Hotels a little while back, and it's just really a simple strategy, but sometimes little things swing awfully big decisions, and you'll see as you go through that. At the risk of sounding egotistical, there's some elegance and some genius in the simplicity of that strategy. The second one I developed for a company called True Nature Dog Treats, and transforming, they're in the process of doing this, but it's transforming their business from a sort of, buying one bag at a time to actually having users subscribe to getting dog treats, as a subscription. And there's a lot of advantages in that for the consumer. And of course, it makes increases sales and makes cash flow more predictable for True Nature Dog Treats. The third one is Borkwin Music and Media, and they had a number of different offerings that they have. They're a performing band. They do something called keynote concerts. They have, that's part of their Dream Big series that you see up there in the upper right of that. And they also have a training program where they train other musicians on what to do to actually get gigs and get gigs that are high-paying gigs. So in each one of those, there are little nuggets that even businesses that aren't in that business, they're not in the hotel business, they're not in the business of making dog treats, and they're not in the music business, but they can see the quality of the strategies. And the other thing that they would be able to do, potentially at least, is glean something from those strategies that can help them in their business. And so, whether they become a subscriber or not, they get access to those three strategies at no charge. So I'm going to turn it over here now to Ryan Nicely, who's on the call. And Ryan has actually been utilizing this Finding Hidden Gems piece to add a lot of value and sort of demonstrate to people what you can do with some of these things. And so, Ryan, let me give you the screen, and I want you to talk about and just sort of explain what you're doing with utilizing this strategy. So let me give the screen to you, and
I shouldn't.
I think you're good.
Yeah, I don't
Luis,
know that I need. I don't know that I need anything, right? Because I don't have any more than just this one slide, so I just need to talk, right?
Right. It's just
Yeah, okay.
just you explaining what you're doing. And Luis, I know you're on audio. Are you seeing Ryan okay?
I can see him okay, yes.
Perfect. All right. So fill us in on what you're doing there, Ryan.
Yeah, sure. So I've known Bob for a long, long time, as I think he said, and he's taught me over the years about the whole idea of giving value. Recommended the book The Go-Giver, which I highly, highly recommend that book. It pretty much changed the way I approach life and business. I recommend it to a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I recommended it to a guy just 2 weeks ago, and he emailed me yesterday to thank me for recommending that book to him because he's already making changes. So kind of a lot of this prefaces from the idea of giving value. I'm in sales. I own a company. I sell restaurant point-of-sale software, and frankly, I'm trying to come up with new ways to prospect. I'm tired of cold calling. I don't think it's effective. I don't think customers want you walking into their business or calling them and interrupting their day. So I've kind of taken another approach where I'm creating these events. They're more of an educational type of an event. So I take myself. I've actually partnered with Bob on one, and I'm partnering with other people in my network that complement the restaurant space, right? So, for example, somebody who does social media, and then I do restaurant, and we'll do an event where we're giving ideas and helping share some information. Obviously, we want to eventually maybe get a customer out of that, but the idea is that it's not a sales pitch, it's educational. We're giving them value, and building our brand awareness and so forth. So with that being said, I wanted to incorporate something different. I've been involved in a lot of Bob's classes, workshops, activities, done a lot of the different activities that he implements. And I wanted to create something different so that when someone came to a meeting, they would literally, if all they took away from that meeting was maybe a new idea to help them grow their business, then they would have gotten something from that meeting. So they will have gotten value from coming. They will remember me because I'm the one who helped them come up with that idea using Bob's tactics. And if they don't need my services, they will at least remember me and potentially tell other people about me. Right? So that's kind of the concept. Everyone I network with, everyone that's in these networking meetings, these pay-to-play, so to speak, networking events, they're all pretty straightforward, right? They're 1-hour meetings. You meet, you give your pitch, you pass your card, you pass leads, who are you looking for, that kind of thing. So I want to do something different. So finding hidden gems here is an exercise that I actually participated in when I was in one of Bob's mastermind groups. And to be frankly honest, when he first presented it to us, I'm like, yeah, this is kind of cheesy. I don't really know what this is going to do, but hey, I'm in this group. I'm going to go through the process. And I was actually blown away at the power that this one simple little activity has. So I was thinking about how could I incorporate this into an event. So I offered to do I'm a member of the local chamber here, and they do a monthly, what they call chamber after hours. And it rotates to a different business each month, and people come on site, get to see that business, but it's a networking type of an event. Well, with COVID and everything, all of that actually shut down, and I said, well, hey, I would be willing to offer to host a virtual after hours through Zoom. And I pitched it to the chamber, and they're like, oh, that's a great idea. I said, but I'd like to make it a little bit more than just everybody, sharing ideas about what they're binge watching and, how they're dealing with COVID, but something that they'll get a little bit more out of. And so what we decided to do is I pitched this idea of finding hidden gems. Of course, at the time we were calling it the asset list, so it's a much better name now. But I pitched the idea to them, and they loved it. And here's what we did. So we created a Zoom meeting. It was several out. And part of the process was they had to register for the meeting. It was a free meeting. But once they registered, they were sent an email which had the directions and the exercise included in it. Okay, so the directions for them was basically the Finding Hidden Gems exercise. To go through that exercise from the time they registered up until the day of the event, and be prepared to share at least one of their ideas from the exercise. And that was kind of the plan. And we thought, okay, well, so it's an hour-long meeting. You know, we'll do a little light networking in the beginning. We'll get into discussing everyone's activity, and then we'll do some general discussion around COVID and, you know, what's a good, you know, series to binge watch, some of those kind of things. We actually ended up taking the entire meeting just to talk about the finding hidden gems activity, and everyone loved it. I didn't know anybody on that call, and to be frankly honest, they were almost every single person on the call immediately said they were taken back that they had homework for an after-hours event. But by the end of the call, they were all just like thanking me, like, this was such an excellent exercise. I realized that I had some tools available to me that I wasn't utilizing. I'm going to be implementing this going forward. So it was so powerful, and that was really a networking event with a chamber. It wasn't even really networking with my prospective customers, right? But right after that call, just by me offering that value, giving that up as an idea and sharing it with everyone, there were 10 people that registered for the call, 7 people showed up. Out of the 7, 4 people contacted me immediately after the call to set up a one-on-one meeting. And I'm building relationships with those people as we speak, right? So the power is that they now see who I am, the type of person I am, but they also have now taken some ideas from that into their own business, and if they want to take that to the next level inside the document, because that's the other thing that we did after the meeting is we emailed everyone the actual PDF document, so it has the links, the affiliate codes, and so forth in the back of it. So now I was able to distribute that to all of them. They can use it over and over. They can share it and distribute it with people they know. And then, you know, of course, there's the opportunity for them to now connect with SpearPoint and kind of go to another level with SpearPoint, which would hopefully earn me some residuals and some mailbox money down the road. So I like to call it a win-win-win.
Ryan, could you talk for a second about JTM and was it Tony Moss? Is that who was the
I think
guy
it was Tony. Yeah, he was the only person on the entire call that did not do the exercise. However, he's probably the person on the call that would be able to provide me with the most referrals, because he works for a food producer, and his customers are restaurants. So everyone got to go around and share their experience with the exercise, and it came to him, and he said, listen, I just want to be honest, I did not do the exercise, but I'm absolutely blown away by everything I've heard everyone share, and he and I have not actually had a chance to meet yet just because of scheduling and COVID and so forth, but he immediately was like, you know, every one of my customers are restaurants. He's like, and if they're not happy, I'm not happy. He's like, so I definitely want to meet you, and I want to introduce you to my customers. Just because of the gesture, right? He just saw the value in that, even though he didn't even actually participate in the activity. He just saw everyone else get so excited sharing their ideas that he just knew this was a good thing, and he just knew that he needed to work with me, and he wanted to meet me. So, I mean, I thought that was hugely powerful.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that I wanted to have Ryan tell that story is because if you're a business person, especially a small business person, one of the things that you're looking to do, or you should be looking to do, is differentiate yourself in the marketplace and position yourself as being more valuable. And using these pieces that we have, those 4 high-value giveaway pieces, will absolutely, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Ryan, but Do you feel like that helps to position you as it differentiates you and makes you more valuable in people's perception?
Oh, completely. 100% fits exactly what I want to do, right? Because now it positions me as not just the salesperson trying to sell a POS system. It positions me as the person who cares about your success overall, not just in business but personally. Okay, it gives them a little bit of a glimpse of insight into who I am as a person, right? Because I was trying to help them with something that was completely unrelated to what I do. And my goal is to be known as the trusted provider here in the tri-state area. Not only can I provide great tech services and great software and great systems, but I can provide the training, the concepts, the ideas on top of it to help customers be successful with that tool and with that product. So I'm more than just a tech guy. I'm full-blown consultant, if you will. Right.
And that is especially in the modern world that we live in, with hyper competitive environment that we have, and that's going to become even more, post COVID-19 lockdown. You have got to, if you're going to thrive, you have to position yourself in the minds of your customers as being different, being better, more valuable. The good news is when you do that, what happens to your margins? All of a sudden, when people perceive you as more valuable, you're not competing on price so much anymore, because people are perceiving you as more valuable. And people only care about the price of something as it relates to their perception of value. So when you can present yourself, position yourself in the minds and hearts of consumers, your consumers, as being more valuable, then all of a sudden price becomes much less, and in some cases a non-issue. So that's what we're trying to do with the strategies, and that's the real advantage to becoming a brand ambassador, using the tools and resources that we're making available. Is, if your customers are small business people or mid-sized business people, then you can use these tools as a super value add up front. And look, even if they're not your customers, even if you're just a brand ambassador and you're not a business person, you can still use these tools to add value to those people immediately, and you create your own good karma, right? Because the more value you add in the marketplace, the more prosperity is going to come your way. So that's pretty much the information that I wanted to share with you guys today. Ryan, I'm going to take back control here, and I'm going to open it up to any questions that you guys have. So I've got let's see, what time is it? I've got about 8 or 9 minutes. We could go through Q&A if you guys have any questions. So fire away, anybody that has any questions.
So, Bob, this is Luis. Quick question with regards to some of the assistance that you've provided to businesses over the year. One of the things I was thinking about, have you considered quantifying the increased sales, just to throw that number out there? Might be worth doing, just to get people, hooked.
Well, certainly, and look, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. One of the things that I talk about on the website and in the other presentations for our consumers about the strategies by subscription is Elvis Presley, who's now been dead longer than he was alive. He had 38 top 10 hits, including 18 number ones. And Luis, do you know how many of those he wrote?
Zero.
Zero. He wrote none of it. He wrote, in fact, I'm not even sure Elvis wrote any songs over the years, and if he did, they probably weren't any good. But what he did is he took the songs that other people wrote and performed those so well that he became an international superstar. And so, obviously, you know, everybody is not going to be as good at implementing these strategies as others. So the reason I say, you know, it's sort of subjective is I can write a number one song, but if you never perform it, it's never going to become a hit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep, it does.
Yeah. So, I can tell you on the site, you know, we're going to have there already is, and we're adding a couple of others, testimonials from clients. So, and look, by the way, you know, one of the things that we are going to make available is, let's say somebody wants to have us create a proprietary strategy just for them, not featured on the site, right? But we can do that too. That's just, you know, we'll be working with them separately. And by the way, if we do, guess who gets paid on that?
The ambassadors.
Exactly. So any other questions?
Oh, yeah, that was a good point, Bob. Like, say they're doing their subscription thing, and then, like you said, eventually, or it comes down the road where they do want to work with you, you know, the full package. How would you give them a discount, or, like, how would that work?
Well, we'll work with them in terms of pricing. That's sort of a case-by-case basis. You know,
right.
This is more, the strategies by subscription is more of a, you know, it's sort of a package deal. This is what it is. This is what the price is. But let's say that we're going to work with them in a strategy. That's a case-by-case basis. The other thing, Christine, that we might work with them on is doing some creative thinking training fun shops with them. So, yeah. Again, you know, that depends. And something to think about is, you know, and we're going to offer this to all of our brand ambassadors, is we have a creative thinking training program, which, Christine, I know you're already familiar with, called Creative Connections. And for people that want to take that just for their own self, they can take that. But if they want to get certified as a trainer of that program, we've got the opportunity to qualify to do that as well. So there will be a lot of things that emanate from this strategies by subscription, and I'm glad you brought that up, Christine, because that's a little bit more customized. So it would depend, you know, let's say it's a training event. You know, are we training 20 people or are we training 300 people, right? So, you know, and is it a half day fun shop? Is it a full day? Is it a weekend? So that's a little bit more case-by-case basis. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I was thinking, too, I mean, I didn't know if you thought of it or wanted to throw it out there as maybe an incentive, because optimistically thinking, I would hope people would see the value and be like, yeah, I want to work with this dude, Bob. So, like, just be like, hey, if you end up wanting to work with us more long-term, what have you, there could be some kind of discount. You don't have to throw a number out there. Just kind of add that little teaser in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you know, absolutely. And look, you know, when somebody is on our, they become a customer for our strategies by subscription, we will absolutely be in contact with them on a regular basis. To give them more success resources to work with. They're not going to receive an email from us that's just a promo for us, right? Anytime we are communicating with people, it's going to be something of value, and they're going to get something out of it. But, you know, we're all, you know, as part of that, we're going to let them know, hey, we do this, 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 this. And if you're a customer, chances are, you know, we're going to work with you. You know, if you're a customer in one area of ours, we'll probably work with you a little bit on the pricing, on the custom pricing for that. So, yeah, good idea, and certainly something we're open to. Any other questions?
No, just an overall great overview, Bob, and very, excited about the prospect.
Well, look, Luis, with the work that you're doing with the Hispanic community in this country, and I think that this can be a real opportunity for you. And of course, we're doing some work together to put some of these, some of our high-value giveaway pieces, translating them into Spanish, so that it's more accessible, I should say, to the Hispanic market. And so it's exciting. I think we're going to make a huge difference for entrepreneurs, not just in the U.S. but across the globe. And that possibility just excites me like nothing else. It's I live my life to make a difference in the world positively. So it's so that's exciting stuff. And if you guys don't have any other questions, I think maybe we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Does anybody else have anything to add?
Nope,
All
I don't.
right. Okay, fantastic. Listen, I appreciate your time. If you're on here live, if you're watching this as a recording, thank you. We'll have information for you to reach out and become a brand ambassador if you aren't already. And we look forward to working with you and building prosperity together. So thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.